me
We
record.
have.
And if the panelists could be on speaker view, that would be great. We'll start right there. Okay, well, welcome everybody. It's another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. And we decided we better talk about this promotion. Now, if you're in the North American marketplace, you're included in the promotion. So this is in Canada and the United States. So there's different promotions going on in different marketplaces, but we really wanted to focus on this 2x promotion, which allows you to double the amount you're making between now and January the 29th. So between now and the last Friday of the month, this promotion continues. And just to refresh a little bit, if you sponsor somebody, when you sponsor somebody, and you help them go to director in their first 14 or so days, then they're going to get their director bonus. But instead of it being $50, they're going to get $100. And when you help them go director, you're going to get double fast start. So if you would normally get $80, you'd get $160. So the company is being extremely generous during this crazy COVID time, really helping people, supplement their income. Tyler mentioned on our call when we had him on at the beginning of the month that 70% of North Americans have been financially impacted by this COVID virus. And so people are being careful. People are, taking one day at a time. But once people know about ASEA, it's the best investment they can make in their health if they just want to be a customer. And if you're looking to not only help people with their health, but also add to your pocketbook and dig your well before you're thirsty, which is so important when life is unsure, that this promotion is a great way to do it. So Danny, what do you think about this promotion? Are you encouraging your team to leverage it?
Yeah, absolutely. Every incentive, I'm all over. And that's what we build the business by. ASEA puts these promotions in place. They want to make sure that you're building your business with a strong, solid foundation. So creating the right business building activity. I always talk about with my presentations that this is a perfect storm. Talking about storms again this morning, but the last 12 months has been really difficult, and something that people do in these times, and we've got a situation where we've got horrendous economic times that have been brought on by the pandemic, is people look after their health. And, what do we have? We have an incredible breakthrough. So people are always looking, even though, they might be struggling financially, they still look after their health. And, we've also got an incredible opportunity. There's tens of millions, if not, hundreds of millions of people around the world that are struggling financially. You mentioned, I think there's something like how many people, like literally in the US, can't put food on the table at the moment. Tens of millions. I mean, it's just horrendous. It's really sad, actually, with what's happened. So we've got an incredible opportunity too. We've got these incentives in place to help us build the business. So take advantage of those incentives. This one's finishing shortly, but keep in mind, we've got the Fast Forward, which has been institutionalized. That's there all the time. And when you're building a business, run your promotion, one of the incentives, overlap them. So run them in parallel and overlap them. So run them in conjunction with each other. So anytime you've got an incentive coming on board from the company that's only here for a period of time, have a look at what that incentive is and always work it to the Fast Forward. And keep in mind, when you're doing that too, think of the incentive trips and run it in line with those as well. So just make sure you're leveraging absolutely everything across the board when it comes to building your business, because if you're building to these incentives, you're going to build your business quickly if you're taking the action. And I'm going to ask everybody the question, and this is the question I've been asking lately because it is the beginning of the year. Where are you guys going to be on December 31? Where are you going to be on December 31? Take a look at yourself now. And can I ask you another question? Do you know where you're going to be on December 31? And I can tell you that if you don't, have a look at where you are now, because you're probably going to be in the same place by the end of the year. And only you can change that. The only competition that you have, guys, is you. The only thing that's going to stop you or getting your way is you. If you want to change the way things are now is definitely the time to do it. I can see what's coming by looking at absolutely everything going on the planet. Now, I believe that we need to be set up literally in the next few years to be okay for the rest of our lives with what's going on. So don't wait for somebody to do it for you. Make sure you're acting now, you're creating and putting every waking second of your day outside of your busy schedule into building your business, especially to the incentives. Make sure you're achieving those incentives. Make sure that you're winning to make sure that you're building a business which is going to look after you and your families for generations to come. And with that, I'll give it back to Bo, and then I'll jump back in again shortly. Or back to you, Cindy.
Bo, you're muted.
Yeah, I'd love to say something about it. I mean, this promotion, okay, it ends on January 29th. So we're talking how many days away? I think it's 12 days away. But the beauty of it is that the action in this promotion continues on. So, and what I mean by that is if you sponsor someone on that last day, Friday the 29th, you still have the director bonus period of that individual to get them to director, to double your fast start bonus, to double their director bonus. I mean, this company put this promotion together. Normally, we'd get, say, 1/2 of this promotion. If we sponsored somebody and they went director, ASEA would maybe double our fast start bonus. Or if we sponsored somebody and they went director, they'd double their director bonus. But to have them both incentivizes both parties, and that's fantastic. And as Karen was saying, she said, how do you build the foundation to a legacy business? And that's by helping others to start in the right way. And what we know is that somebody who earns their director bonus is 15 times more likely to become a diamond. 1,500% more likely to become a diamond. Even a little other thing is someone who earns their director bonus is 2.5 times more likely to stay on AutoShip, to stay on the product. So guys, there's an incentive for you to bring people in this way, just in terms of the financial property, but also in terms of building your business, which is the residual income, keeping people in. And that the longer they're on the product, as we know, the more likely they are to notice what ASEA is doing for them. Remember, we know scientifically that 100% of the people that use ASEA get results 100% of the time within a half hour of using them. And that's with 43 different blood markers. So it's not just maybe you're guessing it or anything. We know that's happening. But the challenge is what we know statistically is that after a week, 10 to 15% of the people actually notice something's going on. After 30 days, 50%. And after 90 days, 90% actually know it. Now, as we know from the 3 and 5, that many times we can help move people's decisions along by using Renew 28 to get them to come on board, and then they use it to get their friends on board. So using Renew 28 3 times in 5 minutes, we've found that basically 9 out of 10 people get results right there in your first 10 minutes with them. So you want to dig into your heart, dig into your chest. We know why we're here in this business. We're here to share ASEA, get worldwide distribution as quickly as ethically possible. And this promotion really gives us a chance. I mean, we've had it for 2 months, but now there's 2 weeks left, less than 2 weeks left. Take advantage of it while you can. Leverage this promotion. As Vertus Norton says, is that strategy is knowing your resources and leveraging them. Well, trust me, guys, this is one of your resources right now, and you can help people. If they come in and go quick, they can get double bonus on their fast start as well if they bring a couple people in. Anyway, that was just what I was going to share real quick. So
time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Like 2 months, it's nearly gone. 2 weeks to go. Keep in mind, we've got a lot of people from around the world on this call. Guys, take advantage of the promotion in your market. And have a think, the company puts these promotions together because, as I said, you're building a business in the right way. So continue building it exactly the same way when the promotion finishes. Don't drop the ball. Keep doing the exact same activity. because they have put these together to make sure you've got a strong business and a strong foundation. I mean, I've been involved for 6 years now. Back then I was in survival mode, as you guys know, struggling with my health. You know, and I actually say it was the business that saved my life, because if it wasn't for the business, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to help people to receive thank you checks to invest into product back for my own health. So if I fast forward to now, and I can put food on the table now, and I'm not in survival mode, but I still build the business in the exact same way. I get up every single morning like I need to put food on the table, and I'm in survival mode. So, and I mean, this comes back to your why, doesn't it? Comes back to the beginning. If you don't know why you're building an ASEA business, if you haven't got a strong emotional reason, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough. It's 80% of what we do here, guys. So just make sure you're totally clear this year on why you're building an ASEA business. You know, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And for me, I just want to keep a lot of people physically here at the end of the day. So I'm out there getting this to as many people as possible from the time I wake up to the time I drop.
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot of people out there in the world that are, you know, elbowing each other, trying to get in line for this vaccine because they think that that's the way to, you know, to protect themselves. And, you know, and that's a personal choice. And a lot of people are panicking. I know in Hawaii, Danny, there were 400 people that showed up for the vaccine that weren't on the list. And so it got a little crazy and they had to shut the whole thing down. So people, it's crazy out there. But we have something that can help people in the meantime, while they're, if they choose to get a vaccine, if they choose not to get a vaccine, if people understand what our product does at the cellular level, this is one of the most important investments you can make in your health. If you understand how what this product was developed for originally, when it was headed down a pharmaceutical path, it was originally developed for lung cells. You know, it was originally developed to combat a virus. So my goodness, if there's one thing that people should be on during this time, it is ASEA, putting it on topically, as well as putting it in internally, as well as breathing it in a fine mist directly into their lungs, putting it in their eyes, putting it in their nose. I wanted to, as far as the business goes, I wanted to highlight two things. One is that when we've been in network marketing now for 22 years, and the top earner in our previous network marketing company was, you know, he was dumb like a fox. I mean, he made this business look so easy. He was so brilliant, but he never demonstrated this business as being hard. And what he did when he sponsored a new person is he would say, "Hey, Danny, who's the nicest, most ambitious person you know?" And then he'd be quiet and you'd come up with a name, one name. He didn't ask you to make a 100 list. He just asked you to think of the nicest, most ambitious person you know. And you'd give him a name. And then he would say, "Let's call that person." So he didn't have you overthink it. He didn't tell you what a three-way phone call was. He just said, "Let's call that person." And so you, with his support, would call the most fun, most ambitious person you know. And here's what he'd say. "Hey, Danny, I'm sitting here with Bo, and I just asked Bo, or vice versa, who's the nicest, most ambitious person that he knew?" And he said, "You, Danny. Out of all the people he knows on the planet, he says that you are the nicest, most ambitious person you know." Now, I don't know how you'd feel receiving that compliment, but that would make me feel pretty darn good. And so then he would say, "Listen, I don't know if you're interested in what, you know, Cindy and I are doing together, but we thought we'd give you a call, considering you're, you know, the funnest, most ambitious person Bo knows. And I wondered if you're open to taking a look at what we're doing together. If you are, great. If you're not, no big deal." So that's a very non-threatening way to invite somebody to take a look at what we're doing. Now, you do that over and over again, you're going to find two people that want to join your team. You're going to go director, make director bonus double, and your sponsor is going to earn the double fast start. So please don't overthink this. This is not a complicated business. The other thing I wanted to highlight was, have you ever heard of the concept called the penny doubled? The penny doubled is if I asked you, Danny, if I was to give you a penny a day, penny today, and I promised to double it for the next 31 days, or I would give you $1 million right now, which would you take? And I know Danny's seen this before. So Danny, you'd probably take the penny. But most people, especially during this pandemic, would say, oh my gosh, give me the $1 million. Now that's short-sighted, because one penny is going to turn into 2 pennies. 2 pennies is going to turn into 4 pennies. And you're thinking, as you go through this math problem, and if you don't really understand compounding, you're not going to see how 1 penny could end up being $10 million on day 31. But if you really start to understand this concept of compounding, that penny doubled over 31 days turns from 1 penny into $10 million. So you would have lost out on $9 million if you had taken the $1 million on day 1, tried to get the fast road. So sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. And here's the thing, as you are doubling that penny, you think fear and doubt is going to creep in, wondering, maybe I should have taken the $1 million. Maybe I should have taken the $1 million, when you're finally up to $36, right? That $36 finally turns into $72 and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. It's kind of like building your ASEA business. It's not, when you're duplicating the director bonus over and over and over through people on your team, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to go from having, 2 people to 4 people to 6 people to 20,000 people overnight. It's a process of compounding. So you have to start with the end in mind and have a vision for where you're going together. It's network marketing is about a lot of people doing a little bit. It's not about one person doing a lot. Right, Danny? I mean, these concepts were not taught in school, but that 1 penny turns into $10 million on day 31, right?
Yeah, I definitely never let school get in the way of a good education. I think that's got to be the theme this year. I mean, theme ongoing, Cindy, simplicity. It's easy for me and Bo to dumb it down because that's just us. But I mean, really, the first thing that I say to somebody that wants to build this business is, and I don't want them to get caught up in analysis paralysis. Don't worry about the science, the comp plan, the structure, the strategy. Stay away from all that. Just literally let's start picking up the phone and calling people. So, that lead in, the nicest, most ambitious person that there's a line that is so simple that somebody can lead. And as you said, concentrating on one, and then you go to who's the second nicest, most ambitious person that you know, and just keep going like that. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. I do keep things very, very simple. I don't complicate any. You can have someone in 12 months' time that's still trying to learn the ins and outs of a duck's guts, as we say in Australia, and they haven't picked up the phone and called one person, or they haven't connected you to one person. So it's got to be the DMO, what you're doing, the action you're taking every single day. Keep it simple. Keep it really, really basic. Don't confuse the situation, because there's nothing to confuse. Learn as you go. Become the expert as you go. Just let it happen. Work with your upline, work with the person who introduced you, and get an individual on the phone and start building your business. But it's your activity. What do we invest in what we do? Our only investment is our time, guys, and your time is very precious. So you got to watch what you're spending your time on. Don't be wasting your time on things that isn't income producing activity, because if you're doing that, we're not doing what we're supposed to do, and that's get product into people's hands. So anytime that you are busy going nowhere, just make sure you flick the switch on that as quickly as possible. Make sure that you realize as quickly as possible that you're doing something that's not generating income, and move to production. You have to be in production mode all the time. It's your production that's going to pay you tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, and forever. But being busy, you can be going around in circles. You're not going to get any traction. There's not going to be any momentum, and you're just going to be spinning your wheels. So just make sure what you're doing. And if you realize that you're doing something, that you need to move something else in order to earn an income, to generate that income. And if you're talking to somebody, I'm going to tell you, make an excuse and move on, because your time is really valuable, guys. I learned that from Denny Robinson a long time ago. Sorry, got another call in 5 minutes. You have to go and help people that want to be helped.
That's right. You know, Danny, it's so funny that you say that. I'm really into the health aspect of ASEA. I'm really into the wellness aspect of ASEA. The sickness aspect of ASEA is tough for me because it's depressing. You know, I'm very empathetic, and I really don't like to talk to people about their sickness and how broke they are. It's depressing. I would rather, you know, help people thrive in this life. So, but I'm coachable because, you know, you have to be coachable in this business. We certainly don't have all the answers, do we, Bo? And so we're constantly learning. And so our coaches were saying, Cindy, Bo, you need to join social media groups. And so, you know, there's these different funnels and there's all these different doorways to get into ASEA. So you might want to join a sleep group, and you might want to join a pain group, and you might want to join a immune system group and whatever. And so I'm thinking, oh no, but I did it because I'm coachable. And what I learned, I'm in a fibromyalgia group. And what I learned in this group is that the reason that they start a group is so that they can complain about being sick. And if they get better, they can't be part of the group. And so, you know, part of these people's identity is having this disease. And so I will just quickly send a note saying, hey, listen, if you're looking for a solution, give me a buzz, DM me, you know, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time with these people because, you know, what you notice with people's behavior is patterns. And there's people that have success patterns. There's people that have healthy habit patterns. And there's people that you know, that do things so that they can thrive in this life. There's other people that make choices that don't serve them. And you know what, at the end of the day, we're looking for people who want to swim with us. We're not trying to, you know, save the drowning. You know, we're swimming and we're inviting people to swim with us, but everybody is an independent associate. If you have recruited a dependent associate, and then you recruit another dependent associate, and then you recruit another dependent associate, pretty soon you're hauling heavy people on your back trying to get to the finish line. And that's a heavy load, right? Where if you sponsor a Kayleen or a Peg Coates or a Stevie Alguilina, those people are flyers. They're going to fly with you, right? And together, nothing can stop us. So, you know, maybe it's a good year to look at your limiting beliefs, look at who you're attracting, look at who you want to attract. You know, think about your dream team. If you had a magic wand and you could put together whatever team you wanted to put together, what kind of team would you put together? Who would be on your dream team? So think outside the box. If you want to accomplish something you've never accomplished before, you've got to do things you've never done before. So stretch this year. You know, think about what is the most productive income producing activity that you can do right now. Not organizing your desk, not, you know, what can you do that is highly income producing right now? And if you're going to do that, it's probably calling your chicken list. And I'll tell you that the world is getting so small that if you don't call your chicken list, guaranteed somebody else is going to call somebody on your chicken list. And they might be in ASEA and they might not be in ASEA. They might be selling eyelashes or soap or, you know, some other network marketing product. And you know what I mean? So if we don't do our job well, people will suffer. So, you know, get out of bed every morning, understanding that you are a critical piece of the ASEA puzzle. There are people praying for what you have, and you could change their life with one phone call. So just like somebody changed your life, right, Danny? And Bo, I know that, we were talking with Ed Weens last night on his team phone call, and I can't even imagine where we would be if Chuck and Tammy Gates hadn't thought enough about us to reach out to us and tell us about ASEA. I mean, we'd be in a totally different place today, wouldn't we?
We absolutely would. Life throws you curveballs, and we were working on a plan B because we knew that we wanted to build our own asset. We were sick of building other people's dreams and assets. And so we made that decision. And we were making, decent money or whatever, but we weren't in charge of our own lives. We certainly weren't making too much money. And we just decided that we needed to start doing something for ourselves, and the low barrier to entry in network marketing made it possible. We had the energy, we had at least the wherewithal and will to go for it. So we did, but the bottom line is once we were very fortunate. Cindy went to work right away. I went back to work for Income for Today. And once we had reached the number we needed to reach so that I could quit, we went on a family vacation, and I contracted a virus and was basically off my feet or out of balance for well over 3 months. And if we had lost all of that income, we would have lost this house. Our 2 kids were in college. We would have had to pull them out. Guys, this can really mean a lot for people, and understanding what a plan B can be for you, whether it's you want to do this full time or whether it's, hey, I need an extra $250, $1,000 a month or whatever. This vehicle has the ability. It is a viable legacy company, and it will be here for years and decades to come.
Absolutely. We were taking a training today with, oh boy, what's Lisa's last name, Bo? Do you remember? Lisa Nichols with Eric Worre. She was talking about self-esteem and limiting beliefs. And one thing she pointed out was that self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, and self-confidence is how you feel about your skills. And so you might want to look at that. How do you feel about yourself, and how do you feel about your skills? And one of the things she pointed out was, if you come up, I know ASEA has I will statements. What are your I will statements? And also, just as important, what are your I will not statements? Because in order for you to clear space for something to be in your life, you've got to create space by taking something off your plate. So what are your I will statements, and what are your I will not statements for 2021? Something good to think about.
Lisa said that was actually not will and won't, but what will you quit, right? What will you do and what will you quit? Because in order to do one thing, you have to make space in your life. So you have to quit another. And she says, oh, people think winners never quit. She says that's wrong, because winners decide to do something, and that means they're going to quit something else. So think about what you're going to quit so that you can do what you want to do in order to be part of this legacy company and to get to where you want to be. Again, whether that's $250 a month, $1,000 a month, or replacing your income, it's all available here.
I've always said, great point, Bo, because, when you're with family, put 100% of your time and effort in that time with your family. When you've got your cash flow, you have to, work to either your 9-to-5 job or a business, and you need to earn that money. Make sure you put 100% of effort and time into what you're doing. You've got your faith, 100% of your time into your faith at that time. You're building your ASEA business, 100% effort in the time that you build your ASEA business. I've always said, put every waking second of your day outside of your busy schedule into building this business. And in 12 months' time, you'll look back, you won't believe what you've created. And Cindy, you're talking personal growth. So important. It's very rare, if ever, that your income will exceed your personal growth. So guys, keep growing and make sure not only have you got that strong emotional reason that you're building this business, which is going to, it's going to make you bulletproof. It's going to, you mentioned fear before. That's love. You got love, and the opposite of love is fear. It will take you out of your comfort zone. Just make sure you know exactly why you're doing this. But the other important thing is set your targets and your goals. You need to have them in place as well, and make sure you have them in place for this week, next month, and the whole year. Make sure you know exactly what you're aiming for. You've got dreams, go out, chase them, and go and get them.
That's right. You know, Dean Garzoli, I can't say his last name, Graciosi. Dean Graciosi says that you can't hit fuzzy targets. Fuzzy targets don't get hit. So clarify that target so you know exactly what you're aiming at, and then march boldly in the direction of that target. I would ask you, when Bo was talking about, you know, where we'd be if Chuck and Tammy Gates hadn't called us and told us about ASEA, I would ask you, who has the hand on your money faucet? Who's in control of your money faucet? My best friend from high school loves her job, but she doesn't have her hand on the money faucet. So guess what? Her boss shut off her money faucet. She's got no money coming in. She lost her job. She's devastated. She has not built her plan B before she needed it. And she's now living in an RV at her sister's house because she's desperate. She doesn't know what to do. She's got to figure out all this unemployment stuff, and her identity got stolen in the middle of all this COVID stuff. I mean, she's just living the nightmare right now. But if you know people that don't have their own hand on their money faucet, it's a good conversation to have, because no one, I know, Danny, with you, nobody can turn off your money faucet but you, right? And Bo and I are in the same position. Nobody can turn off our money faucet but us, right? In fact, our faucet is flowing. We couldn't turn it off if we tried. What a good problem to have, that money keeps flowing in week after week after week after week, because we have built reproductive residual income that compounds over time, just like that penny doubled. So anyway, this is a teaching business. You know, it's a personal growth business with a compensation plan attached. It'll stretch you. It'll knock on your backbone and see what you're made of. You know, see if you have a strong backbone, or see if you wilt under pressure. You know, a diamond is just a piece of coal who manage pressure really well. So, you know, look, you get one life, go big or go home, right? If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space, right? Anything you want to say, Danny, to wrap up this call?
I mean, what other industry can you be in that you can give yourself a pay rise at any time? And you're talking about the money faucet and how somebody can take that away from you to stop it, block it, finish it up. As Grant Cardone says, who's got my money? Go and find it. And don't feel bad about that, because that's a result of helping people. So the last thing that I'd like to say is, you know, don't get to December 31, guys, and look back and think, I've only put in 50% effort. Go and put in 110 and be really satisfied with what you've created this year.
Yep. And you're probably going to muck it up along the way. You're going to screw up. You're going to say things that are embarrassing. You're going to get yourself in potentially embarrassing situations. And you know what? You're going to be just fine. You're going to look down. There's not going to be any blood. You're going to grow as a human being, and you're going to be better off because of it. And, you know, so there is no such thing as perfect. You are who you are. Do your best. It's all you have. It's got to be good enough, because that's all you got, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one thing worse than what you just said, and that's not putting the effort or time in.
That's right. That's right. Well, Danny, Bo, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation today. I hope this was helpful to you guys out there. You know, we love you all very, very much. We have an incredible gift in our hands, and a gift's not a gift until you give it away. So give this thing away. Show people what we have. It's a very profound technology, very, very fundamental, absolutely critical to life itself. Without these molecules, you're dead. So we're the only company in the world that has it. It's patented. We have a differentiating, sustainable advantage. I mean, you guys, we got the perfect storm. So look in the mirror, realize that you are enough, and absolutely go for it. Let's make 2021 the best year we've ever had. I know it will be the best year that ASEA has ever had, with us or without us. So we might as well be part of it. Right, Danny? Right, Bo?
Absolutely, yeah. Aloha, mahalo. Thank you for coming on the call, guys.
Absolutely. Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Good night.